So I promised you that I was going to tell you about this specific technique, and I think I'll make a dedicated video to my language channel, but here it is. Imagine that you have 10 words in, whether it be German, Japanese, Chinese, Mandarin, Italian, Sicilian, it doesn't matter, English, whatever it is. There are these 10, 15 words, and they just do not stick in your head. You just cannot remember that how you say, well, at this point, I don't know what to choose, but mobile phone, okay, like a smartphone. This one will be keitai in Japanese and shouji in Mandarin. We say kind of telefonino, although in Italian, or these days, we just say smartphone. We just say it with an Italian accent, whatever. There is a word, you just can't remember it. Here is how you do it. This is for ultra beginners only. What you do is you select the word and you swap it for the real word, for the word in your native language every time you speak your language. In other words, imagine that my word, and we did this with my wife actually, I couldn't remember the word for Starbucks in Mandarin. And I told her it's Simba Ke. You notice that now I know it because we did this. And I told her I just can't remember it. It's because it doesn't sound like it, so I can't remember it. So what we did is that every time we were not allowed for a whole week to say Starbucks in English. So every time we would go out, I'd tell her, do you want to get some Simba Ke? And she's like, yeah, well, I don't mind. Let's go get a coffee at Simba Ke. And the first times we had to read it because we didn't remember it. But because we stopped using the original word and we swapped it for the target word, after a few days, I will never forget it for the rest of my life. Now, of course, this only works for ultra beginners because if you are an intermediate speaker, you should do sentences. I wouldn't recommend sentences when you're an ultra beginner because you'll F them up. But if you're an intermediate student, you can start using sentences and, for instance, describing what you do. You open the fridge, you could say, I'm opening the fridge and name all the food. That's one way to try to use the language. But if you're an ultra beginner, you won't be able to make the sentences. But the trick of switching words works perfectly. And you do it already. You're already basically native when it comes to words such as spaghetti. Spaghetti is not your language. It's Italian. But because it's integrated, you could call them noodles. But I think most people know the word spaghetti because you use it. And that's the same for, like, I don't know, stretching. It's a word that we use in Italian. We do have a word in Italian. I think it would be something like allungamento muscolare. No one says it that way. Everybody says stretching. We just destroy the pronunciation and say stretching. That's how we say it, okay? Hai fatto lo stretching. That's what we say. But no Italian will ever forget this word. So it's something that you already do in your daily life because there are some words that we just use that are foreign and you will never forget them. So that's the trick. You don't remember table, which is tavolo in Italian, just swap it and go tell people. You tell your mother, go tell her, hey, I really like your tavolo. And she'll be like, my what? And you say, your tavolo. And it means table. And, you just do that and you swap it. And it's a fantastic trick. Why does it work? Because it enters your routine and it creates an association that is connected to an experience which generates a memory. So that when you do need to recall the word and you need it in, because you're speaking the language, right? For instance, this happened to me in New York. I was in New York. I had studied this way the word shouji for phone in Mandarin. And then at one point, there were a bunch of Chinese kids, and one of them forgot the phone and left the restaurant. It was like a tea house. So I remembered it at that point. I told him, 请问你忘了你的手机? So, sorry, you forgot your phone. And the only reason why it came to me on the spot is because I had been using the word shouji instead of phone for the last few weeks just because I wanted to acquire it as a word. And that's the trick. It's a simple trick. It works. I'm not over-promising you, telling you that it's going to help you memorize 10,000 words, and that's ridiculous. But it is fantastic for those words that just do not stick into your head. And then this is going to be in my book, by the way. It's on chapter 8, which is the chapter where I tell you all the different practical exercises. And I would like to show you, if you allow me a little plug-in, it's going to be small, shameless, but small. I'm going to show you the book that I'm writing, which is going to be about this. And then I'll tell you if you're an advanced learner, how to use techniques that can actually work. Let me see. It's on, let's see here. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. No over-promising, no nonsense, no BS, just stuff that actually works. All right, let me see if I can see the fun. Okay, so I have this. I did a fundraiser, which has gone really well. I really appreciate your support, which is the fundraiser that I raised in order to become an author, right? To spend some time to write the book. It was a way for me to gauge interest in the public, and it's going very well. And I posted several updates, including the. So right now, let me see if I can show you the fundraiser very quickly. Yeah, maybe view. 1 second, please. I want to make sure that, yeah, there we go. So this is it. I put just a picture of an armor because it's always a great day to wear armor. And yeah, it's basically, I was asking, it's very common to kickstart an author in a book to gauge, to see if there is public interest and people are interested. And I promised that if we had raised the amount that was the goal, which we basically did, I would have asked for a lower price for the book. And instead of asking for the original $14.99, the book once published, and I'm planning on publishing it this year, possibly in the next couple of months. It's a book about how to learn languages. It's called Sure Path to Fluency. And I promise that it will be priced at $9.99 because all I ask is a $5 donation. Other people have been more generous than that, and I really appreciate that. But I said basically it's a way to return the favor, so that it's as if it's just a little way for me, like an anticipation, so that I can see, okay, people are interested in the book, so I can put in the hours, but then I'll give a lower price to everyone, and so that it's a way to kind of give you back the $5 that way. And yeah, I posted several updates. I've already posted the intro to the book. It's here, introduction you can read, and the preface of the book, the preface of the book, and it's gonna be full of tricks and tips like this. I'm gonna put the link here for those who want to check it out, and I really appreciate, even if you decide to not support it, I still appreciate if you have a look at it, read what I have to say, and I really appreciate everyone donating. It's really nice of you for believing in me first and foremost as a possible author. But the way the book is going to work is that it's divided in 8 chapters, and chapter 8 is going to have 30 to 40 exercises that are detailed, such as the one that I just shared, and telling you how to actually move from theory to practice. Because I think if you have someone who has tried to reach fluency in a language and you failed to do it, you're fed up with theory and you want some practice. And the first chapter of the book, which is already entirely written, is a collection of all the questions that I've been asked in over 10 years of teaching. So every time that people ask me, how long does it take to reach B2 level? What's the fastest way? Should I care about pronunciation? What's the hardest language in the world? All of these are compiled and professionally answered. No AI whatsoever. I only use the AI as a thesaurus. So if I use the same word in the manuscript 3 times in a row, I ask AI, give me an alternative for this word because it looks bad. That's it. But the AI is not writing the book, never will write the book. This is mine, and it comes from 10 years of experience in teaching within the language space. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. And again, thank you so much for everyone considering supporting the fundraiser, and also for anyone who's interested in purchasing the book. I really appreciate that.